Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. This is a life well spent. My name is Kelly, and on this channel, we document my financial journey. I am a single woman. I am in my 40s. I work in education, so it's just kind of a pretty average salary, average existence. I do stuff like budgets. I've paid off some debt, which you'd have to look at prior videos for that because I am now everything but the mortgage debt free. Um, I am hopeful that I'll get into a little bit more investing, but I do want to share some of the things that I'm investing in and why. At this point, I've just kind of been like, well, the X number of dollars is going to this account. But I would like to actually get into that a little bit more. Not the purpose of this video, though. The purpose of this video today is to talk about my no buy year for 2025. Okay, so this year's no buy year is actually going to build off of what I used last year. So, first up, we have black caffeinated teas. For this matter, herbal teas, but herbal teas aren't really a problem for me. It's the black caffeinated teas because I'm not a coffee drinker. So, for my caffeine, I do tea. And I can be a bit of a tea snob. So, um, I also have a really bad habit of like anytime I go to like a festival or a carnival or some kind of like crafty something or other where people are selling their wares, there's inevitably somebody in there that's got some kind of like their own tea blend of things. Um, and I am immediately like, yes, I would like to buy some of that, please. So I did this last year, did pretty well on it and decided that I wanted to keep that going because my hope was that I would get through all of the other that I would get through all the black teas and I would get through all of the like the black flavored teas that I have. And I haven't yet gotten through all of them. I've gone through most. So I'm not going to buy any of those again until I've actually run out of them. That's pretty much what it's not that that's a lot of what my no buy years are. This is just me not buying additional stuff. So when I actually get through all of the loose leaf tea that I have, I will buy more. Well, not necessarily. Sorry, when I get through the loose leaf tea, I'll do the I'll move on to the bags. But once like the bags are done, the loose leaf tea is done, then I will buy more because I can't live without my tea. So we'll see. I would probably anticipate trying to think based on like sort of what I have right now. Um, Maybe by spring I might actually need to buy some tea, I would think, just based on what I currently am working myself through. And part of my problem too is like there's certain I have certain flavored black teas that like I don't want other times, right? Like so in the winter and in the fall, I have like a hot cinnamon spice and a hot cinnamon sunset or something like that, which have like they're cinnamony and they're very like it just reminds you of fall and winter. I have some like holiday teas and like Christmas teas, which are great when like you're doing everything with like cloves and all of those scents are like constantly around. Like I don't want that stuff in the spring and in the summer. It just is not appetizing. So hopefully I'll get through those in the winter and then have, the other stuff. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Um yeah, I do think I have a pretty steady supply. I have a friend whose husband is he is traveling a lot for work and he's stuck in hotels and he brings started bringing her home the tea and stuff and she was like, I don't really drink this, and so she started giving it to me. So I was so pleased, and I told her like I haven't had to like restock my office stash, but um assuming that keeps going, I won't have to, but that could be some tea that I have to buy to replenish my office stash. But okay, so that's up first. None of my black caffeinated teas until I am done with what I have. Um, the next thing up then is beauty products. I want to continue to use up what I have, and not really buy things unless it's something I need to replace. Like I guess I wouldn't really count like toothpaste as beauty products, but like I don't need to have 5 different toothpastes, right? Um, I am very, very bad at taking the time to like put all the things on my face and this and that. And I really just need to, I think I said this in the last video, my wrap up video for 2024. Like, I just need to come to terms with the fact that I'm never that person who's going to have like a 12-step skincare routine. And so be it, I guess. So, yeah. I did pretty good on that. I didn't really buy anything. The only thing I think I bought was like travel stuff, but that was kind of a carve out that I had made in the event that I was going somewhere and traveling and needed like a smaller version of things, that I would allow that. The next thing for me is actually a little bit different this year. It's going to be vitamins and like I think I called it health foods, but I don't know if that's quite right. It's more like vitamins and like health supplements, okay? Um I feel like I spent a lot of money, like it was not necessarily a lot of money. I don't mean I'm like shelling out like thousands or anything, but vitamins are expensive. And I get mine at Sam's, so it's like probably the cheapest that you can get them. Um, but they're super pricey. So I am not entirely convinced that they really do like help anything. And maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't know. Realistically, I think that the science around them is a bit iffy. And I think that if you have a good diet, which to be fair, I do not. I'm working on that, but like it's not like I'm there. Uh, but I think if you do have a good diet, that like you can get most of those nutrients, unless you have some type of issue that you have problems absorbing something. Like I have a friend who has a B12 deficiency, and she has the deficiency because she's got some condition or something that makes it really difficult for her body to absorb B12. So she has to take like a horse dose of B12 just for her body to pull enough or hold on to enough or process enough that would be the equivalent to like a regular person taking just a normal dose. So, um, you know, I I have a bunch of vitamins right now. I currently take a multivitamin, which by the way, I will continue to take. Um, I take a vitamin C in the like cold and flu season usually, and I probably will continue that as well because I don't need to be adding anything there. But I don't take it like over the summertime when I don't normally end up getting sick. So, whew, wow, it's not even that late, but I'm gonna yawn. All right. Um, I take a magnesium pill. I take a vitamin D. I take a vitamin B12, and I take a B complex. Pretty much just take the B complex because you kind of need it to get the max benefit out of the B12. And the magnesium I take for like muscle cramping. Oh, and I used to take vitamin E, but I just did not replace them because I didn't want to get a new bottle of it. I ran out kind of right towards the end of the year, and I was like, you know what? We're just gonna see how this works without it. So anyway, I have them now. I will take them while I can take them, and then I will reassess once I am done with them and I give it some time without, because I did leave like a little note for myself, a little caveat here. If I stop taking something and I start realizing that the thing that I was taking that for is happening, like the magnesium is for muscle cramps. If I start getting muscle cramps again and I haven't taken the magnesium in like a month or two, then I'll probably start taking it again to see if that makes a difference. I'm not gonna like purposely go out and make myself feel terrible. I am essentially, I guess, trying to figure out whether or not I really need to take some of these things. If I'm tired because I'm not taking the B12, then I will go get more B12. Plain and simple. The only other carve outs that I really have is, I don't know if you would really consider like protein powder to be a supplement, but um I do, but it's not really what I'm going to include here because I put protein powder in things to get more protein because I'm trying to lose weight. I am working out, and women of a certain age like need a lot of protein. It's hard to get all of the protein that you need. Protein powders can help you get over the line, and because I am trying to lose weight, it's like I have to eat so few, not so, I don't mean so few calories, but like um if I only allot myself, say, this is not the number, but like just for easy math, say 2,000 calories in a day, it's really hard to get all the protein you need within 2,000 calories. Um, and still get like all of your other nutrients and stuff in, unless you, without like doing some heavy like stuff like adding in protein powder, right? Like I can throw protein powder into a smoothie and it's not a lot of calories, but it's a lot of protein. So yeah, so I it's still necessary, and so I'm not really going to count that as like a supplement. The other supplement I am thinking about doing, just for I don't know, I keep hemming and hawing. I keep seeing those ads for athletic greens, and part of me is like, yep, that's the algorithm. It's the algorithm working. But I'm kind of curious to see if they work. I suspect they don't. I suspect the fact that like you're getting up and you're drinking water first thing in the morning, and it's forcing you to eat some vegetables essentially. And so there's like the benefit that you would get there, but that's not really going to be anything worth it. Like if you just ate well and had a glass of water in the morning, you'd be fine. So with that in mind, I'm not entirely sure if part of me wants to try it because there are times when I know I eat poorly, like when I'm traveling, even when I'm backpacking, like it's not easy. And to be able to get nutrients in that way seems like not a bad idea. So part of me is kind of curious to try them to see if they actually, if I can tolerate them and drink them, to see if they actually work, and if I actually feel a little bit differently. And if I do and I feel a little bit better, I might buy some of the like travel ones for when I'm traveling and it's harder to eat as well, or when I'm backpacking and I'm certainly not getting a lot of like fruit and veggie nutrients because those are heavy and you don't carry them in a backpack. So we'll see. I'm not entirely sold on them yet, so it's kind of there like I will allow myself to buy that, but excuse me, other words, no. Another thing that I'm extending from last year is kitchen stuff. Kitchen stuff. I need to keep things out of my kitchen. And I guess I will say, between this and some other things, some of these things are like no additional things, right? Like no additional tea until I'm done with the tea that I have. And once I am, I can go ahead and buy. Other things are like nothing additional, nothing new, that I don't already have. But if something breaks and I still actually need it or want it, then I'll go ahead and buy it, right? So my kitchen stuff, same thing right now. If my tea kettle breaks or something like that, like I will buy a replacement. Actually, it's not very old, so if it breaks, I will be calling the company and they'll be sending me a new one. But, anything essentially like that. If something breaks and it's something that I do still use a lot and I want to get it replaced, I will replace it. But I'm not going to buy anything new or add anything new just for the sake of having it, right? I am also going to continue my hiking and outdoor gear because this is an area where I tend to go a little bit overkill. And it's funny because I've already violated that rule. It's January 12th. When you see my week 2 transactions videos, you'll know what I mean. So my intention was not to buy anything for like hiking or camping or anything except what I have specifically on a list. And some of the things on that list are like I use a Sawyer squeeze to filter water. Realistically, you could reuse them from year to year, but I hate doing that. And they're only like $30, $40. I would rather just buy a new one and start fresh, and I don't really want to mess with like my water filtration on trail. So, um, I intend to buy one of those. There's some gear items that I'm looking to upgrade. Um, I want to see about using like merino wool, like sports bra and underwear to see if that like just kind of, I mean, when you're out in the summertime and you're like sweating and you're just gross. And I feel like if I could use different materials, like I might, like things might feel better, right? So that's a thought. I don't know yet for sure if I'm going to find anything that I really like or that I'm comfortable with, but that's on the list of like, start looking and figure out how to buy. I really need new ski goggles. And at this point, like, especially since my eyes don't see as well in the dark anymore, um, it's a real safety problem for me when I'm out skiing to use the old goggles that I have because they're all like scuffed up and yeah, it's a problem. So, I really do need to replace my ski goggles. So I'm gonna do that this year. Um, I Let me see here. What else was I gonna? Oh, I had always planned to, buy if there was a piece of gear that I lost or that broke that I actually need, like my spork or something, like it's a long spoon to eat with. I would replace that. But if it's something that I could maybe get away with for the rest of the season, not using and then just replace next year, I will try to do that. I did replace my tent last year because I could not get it to stop leaking. So I wouldn't anticipate something like that. But let's say like my air mattress, I can't sleep without an air mattress. So let's say it gets a hole in it and like I'm just unable to fix it now. Actually, that's probably a bad example because I bet you if I called the company, they'd just send me a new one. But let's say that was the problem. Um, anyway, I do really want to try to get my ski binding fixed. And I feel like I'm pretty pressed for that. So I might be buying new bindings. Only because I think the kind that I have that fit the boots that I have, um, they're kind of going out of style. So I need to jump on that sooner rather than later so I can at least get the bindings that will work. Because otherwise it will mean new boots and new bindings. That'll be a heck of a lot more expensive. So that one's on the list of like, yeah, you're allowed to buy that. I also really need, it's a safety concern again, a bilge pump or sponge for my kayak. So if my kayak takes on water, I can kind of take care of that. Um, so yeah, that's where we're at. I'm really trying to convince myself not to buy a stand-up paddleboard because I really want to do some stand-up paddling, but we're gonna keep it here. Oh, I also want to get a cover for the opening to my kayak just to like keep it clean and keep critters out of it and stuff like that. Because right now my kayak just sits on my porch and like anything could climb in there. In fact, I'd be willing to bet there's cats hanging out in there because it's cold and this gets them out of the wind and stuff. If I had to guess, there probably are. So I'd like to get a cover for that, and probably sooner than later. So again, if something breaks that needs to be replaced and I can't go without it, then I will take care of that. But otherwise, like I'm not gonna just add something new because I'm like in camp and I see somebody has a cool new like hiking gadget or backpacking gadget or camp gadget. I'm not gonna be like, "Ooh, I want that." So just pretty much replacing things that break and the handful of things that I know I'm looking to find. And like I said, I violated that one already because I went skiing and my pants got soaked. And I got soaked all the way through my ski pants. And I honestly probably would have tried to tough it out if it was like 35, 40, but it was like 12 out. And I was like, yeah, I think that's a bit of a frostbite danger. So I really shouldn't do that. And we had just gotten there to ski. So I ended up getting a new pair of base layers because mine were soaked. But I actually really like them. Like I've worn them a couple times since, and I would honestly get a second pair because I think I could use them I can walk outside with them. I think they'll be great. I think they'll be great for cross country skiing. So I don't regret that purchase at all. I just wasn't planning on it. And I bought these things because I still don't know how my pants got soaking wet. Like I sat on like ice or probably snow because they were making snow everywhere. So like that happens. But I have never like I assume I sat on the ice or sat on the snow, it warmed up, but it's never like fully soaked into me because they're snow pants, like they're somewhat water resistant. Um so yeah, I don't even know how that happened. So knowing that like just getting new base layers didn't really make much of a difference. I was still going to have to like the new base layers would get soaking wet unless I came up with something else. And they make these things called dry cheeks. And like picture like just the back half of a pair of shorts. Um and like you basically like you sit on them, but it has a like velcro that goes around the waist, and then there's two legs to the thing, and you velcro them to your legs. Well, you like wrap the velcro around your legs, so basically it covers your butt and the backs of your legs, so that when you're sitting, if you happen to sit on anything wet, it's made of like a neoprene, so like you don't get wet. So I had to buy a piece of gear that I wasn't planning on buying. Okay, so finally, oh, you know what? I need to go back up to the other caveat to my vitamins and whatnot will be if I think I said the one about like if I feel better or if I'm feeling worse, I'm not gonna like mess up my quality of life. The other one was if a provider, if a medical my one of my medical providers is like, no, you really need to take this, like I'm gonna take it. So all that to say, the final one is going to be look at my list over here. New fabric. No new fabric. No new fabric. This one's really hard for me. Especially when like if it were me, I would just say, well, I simply won't go to a fabric store. But I go to fabric stores often because my mother wants to go to one and she doesn't want to go by herself. So then I end up going with her. And last year we went to this she was participating in the shop hop. I did not. I thought the quilts were awful. And I didn't like any of the patterns. I didn't like the fabric for them. So I was like, no. But I saw this gorgeous panel and line of fabrics that was so beautiful, and like I was so tempted. I was like, all right, no, don't do it, Kelly. You have enough projects, you have enough stuff, don't do it. I went to the next store, and they also, because it was brand new, like so they've released them like everywhere. The next quilt shop we went to had a few more fabrics, and I was like, oh my god, this is just all so beautiful. No, I will not do it. 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 And I got to the third store, and there it was again. And guess what? I finally caved. That time I did it. And so I know what quilts I'm going to make with it. Like I know what I'm going to do. And it's freaking gorgeous. Like I'm not that mad about it, but at the same time, like I know I have a tendency to do that, and I'm glad I resisted twice, but it's just I saw it a third time and I was like, okay, I can't. There's no doing that 3 times now. Sorry, that is my alarm to put my garbage out, which it's not a garbage week, so garbage is not going out. Anyway, fabric is expensive. Fabric is a lot of money. And so I have to rein that in. I can't just buy it willy-nilly, especially I think it would be a little bit different if I didn't have like probably 20 different projects up in my craft room right now. So I really need to focus on that. So that is my last no buy. It's no new fabric. The only real caveat I have there in general is that I can buy fabric as needed to finish projects, right? So like if I go to make the quilt that I bought the stuff for last year and I screw up and I need more fabric to finish it, then like yes, I can do that. I know that I just was working on, I actually made a plan for a bunch of my, actually, I don't even know if that really showed up on camera that well. I made it through July for a bunch of the different projects that I want to do, or that I want to like knock out. And, I just did 2 of them a couple days ago at my mom's. No, I guess I went Saturday. It was yesterday. So it was just a couple of wall hangings. I did my part anyway. Now I'm waiting on her to quilt them. That said, we were putting together these like fabric advent calendars. And I went over there yesterday to do that, plus the two wall hangings that I did. And we kind of were putting them together, and we were like watching this video to show how to do it. And I was like, wait a minute, we don't have everything we need. So, like, we don't have the backing for those because they're quilted things. So they need batting, which we have. And then they need to be quilted. And they need binding, which has just occurred to me. Oh, for crying out loud, we don't have binding fabric either. I guess we can bind it with whatever we put the... Jesus. I have no idea how we bought these things without everything we needed for them. Like, it just boggles the mind, but we can't find them anywhere, so we must have. And I don't know if I was just thinking, like, maybe they don't use it, and maybe they're not, like, maybe they don't have to be quilted, and that's just kind of, but it would look better if it were quilted, so I don't know. So anyway, we're gonna have to buy the backing for that. I do have a couple of quilts. There's some quilts I know I don't have backing for because I usually like to see how the whole thing comes together before I decide on the backing. And so to be honest, most of my quilts, if I buy a quilt, the quilt might come with the backing in it, or a kit. The kit might come with the backing in it. But a lot of times I'm piecing together and then I'm buying backing later. So that's different because I need that to finish the project. That's just not me going and being like, oh, that's a pretty quilt. Let me go get more fabric for more quilts that I don't need to get. So I do have a couple of other projects that I don't have fabric for yet. One of them is like this crossbody bag that I want to make so I can take with me when I'm traveling and stuff like that. If I think I might have enough scraps to actually use it to make it. We'll see. But if not, then like I may go out and buy fabric to complete that project. But again, this is not like, the hard thing for me is going to be to go to the store to get backing fabric and be like, look at that, is so beautiful, I want to make that, and have to walk away from it because that's the bottom line there. But yeah, I have a whole bunch of, I know I need backing for the quilt that I'm going to do in February. Because there's no way I would have bought it ahead of time. So what I might end up doing is, like, I see that I have 3. I wonder if I have backing for that one. I might, because that was kind of, they kind of you bought it as like a whole kit. So it may have actually come with the backing. I'll have to check the kit. But yeah, I have at least 2 quilts that I know I don't have backing for, so I might just like piece those together and then go shopping for the backings together, but that's going to take a trip down to Lancaster, which just means that the order of my stuff doesn't make any sense. I have to change some things around by like what I was planning on doing per month. I think I did it this way because I thought the one would take less time when I would have less time around, but I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, those are my no buys. I don't really anticipate the no buys really to do a lot as far as like put a lot more money in my pocket. For me, sometimes it's just me training myself to not buy things that I definitely don't need. Like, yes, I use tea. I drink a lot of tea. And I think part of the reason why I would just buy it anyway, I could be like, I will someday drink it. And now I have a ridiculous amount of tea. And I've cut through a lot of it, but still have a ridiculous amount of it. So I will hopefully be able to fix that. I will hopefully work through a lot of other stuff. Fabric is another thing where I'm like, well, this is just beautiful. I want to have it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I want to have it. That's dumb. That's dumb of me. Because ultimately, like, if you're not going to make, I mean, I have some quilts. I have some quilt kits from a store that hasn't been in business for like 8 or 9 years. And they're just in a bin. So I really want to just focus on finishing what I have. and going from there. So hopefully that will be a game plan there. Does anyone do no buy years? Do you do no buy months? I mean, some people do them. Like, I am pretty specific about like just no buy of like certain things, and other people might be like, we're just not going to spend any money in January. Like, we're not going to buy anything. We're going to do a pantry challenge, and just eat out of our pantry and our freezer. And so we're not going to go to the grocery store. We're not going to go to, I mean, I could probably manage. My pantry isn't as stocked as well as it could be, but like I probably have enough that like I could make bread for myself. Um I've got a lot of stuff in the freezer I could make my way through. Like I could do pretty good. I don't have enough produce though, so I would really, and not even frozen produce because I don't have a ton of freezer space and it's mostly taken up with half a cow. So um I would mostly need produce, but I could still probably get away with like maybe $75, maybe 100 for the month. Trying to think. Very possibly. And that's really just in produce. So $25 of produce a week, maybe. Yeah, it's possible. Maybe I'll try that. Maybe I'll do that as a challenge. We'll see. I do want to eat through it because I don't want it to like get freezer burnt and go to waste. So yeah, I I don't know about the month to month challenges. I might do one. I have kind of toyed with doing one for November and December because it feels like last year, this past November and December, it just felt like I was just setting money on fire. I don't know why, but I felt like I was just constantly spending money. A lot of it was money I'd already set aside to say, and saved to spend at this time, but it doesn't make it feel any better to like just be constantly shelling it out. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I might do. Maybe I'll pick another month and be like, hey, we're gonna do a no spend month this month, and I'm just not gonna buy anything extra or buy anything, or do a low buy. And I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm trying to do as much as I can to kind of put as much money away for a car, which is my next savings goal. But I will get into that in my goals video for 2025. So if you are still watching, thank you so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what kind of things, if you were to do a no buy year or month or whatever, what kind of things would you put on yours? Is there an area where you definitely overspend and you could use a little reining in? And what you would put the saved money towards? Like, what are your goals? What are you saving up for? Let me know. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye.